Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and welcome to Look Back. This is a series of videos that I do where I take a look at reviews that came out a year, 5 years, 10 years, and 20 years ago, and tell you what I think about them now. Well, if I think about them at all. So let's go back in time, to 20 years ago. So 20 years ago, I reviewed two games, one from Ape Games called Anathema. This is a trick-taking game based on the Salem witch trials. Very dark, not a very good trick-taking game. 5 out of 10. And Copper Twaddle. This was, I think, the first game I played from Tony Boydell. This has an old-timey art thing, which I've never been a big fan of that sort of thing. But it was a fine, decent game. Really haven't thought about it for, 20 years. 6 out of 10. All right, let's jump back 10 years ago now. 10 years ago, I played a game called Craftsman from G3 Games. Rules heavy, confusing, boggy, not very good. 4 out of 10. Give It to the King. A race to give someone a letter to the king before everybody else. You think that would be interesting? It's really a bad game. 4 out of 10. Assassin's Creed Arena. Now this one's a little surprising to me. I give this one a 6 out of 10. But this one's ranked very low on Board Game Geek. And the only thing I think of is because I never played Assassin's Creed. So I just played the game and was like, it's a fine game, but nothing great. I think if you played Assassin's Creed, you'd be probably really disappointed by it. Lunacy. This is the board game version from the Loonies. Kind of a flux, sort of. That's the way it works, or finding icons on a board. It's okay. Not great, but I think a lot of people would like it. 6 out of 10. Nations. Nations is a big, grandiose civilization building game and there's a lot going on in it. And the reason it gets a 6 rather than something higher than that is because it is too long. It just is. I know Civ games, by very nature, will be long. But Nations itself just was a little longer than I'd like to. They came out with Nations, the dice game later on, which I enjoyed much more. Baldric's Tomb. This is a roguelike adventure and stuff. Again, this one's dropping a bit to a 6. Not because it's necessarily bad, but because we have so many more options now. This one isn't one that would see the table as much. And then Quarto. This is kind of a weird game with a card-based adventure-style game. Very unusual mechanisms. A 7 out of 10. All right, 5 years ago, I played Monopoly Cash Grab. So this game does not get a 1 for 2 reasons. 1, they're honest in the name. 2, I really do love the gun. Even if that gun has been painted gold and used on other things, like the cake making thing where you nailed it. I'm pretty sure they're using the gun from Monopoly Cash Grab. So I still have that gun somewhere here. But still gets a 3. Terrible game. Taiwan Formosa. Wow, there's like a deck building style game. Man, it's beautiful, great theming. The game itself is not good. 5 out of 10. Horticulture Master. Another game I thought would be good about getting these things to go plant flowers in a Tetris style way. But again, it's just not a great game. 5 out of 10. Chakra. This is a game about collecting gems. And this one has dropped a bit for me because it just doesn't, there's just nothing really interesting about the game. 5 out of 10. Heckmech Deluxe. This is a deluxe version of Heckmech, a very popular game where you're rolling dice and collecting chickens. There's a lot of these games out there that do the same thing. This one's fine. Very nice piece. A 6 out of 10. The Game of Wolf. This is a party game where you want to be the alpha male. You're trying to you're trying to join the group, but also answer trivia questions. It's fine. 6 out of 10. 1 to 9. This is actually from Klaus Jorgen Raid, and I would give this one a higher score to get to 6. Not because it's bad per se, it's just so light it would float away. Maybe it could be sold at mass market stores. Dual Powers Revolution 1917. This 2-player game from Thunderworks about, the fighting in Russia during 1917. Really interesting, some very meaty decisions. Almost war game and feel, 7.5. And then Quad Heroes. Quad Heroes, a game where you have these cubes and you move them around. Kind of a mix between Robo Rally and a dash racing game. I enjoyed it, and I like the theme of it a lot. 8 out of 10. All right, last year I reviewed Tiny Turbo Cars. Do you want to move a little thing around and then drive your car with that? It's not very good. I really want to like this game. 5 out of 10. The Big Pig Game. This is a cooperative game for kids. I enjoyed it fine. Not as much, I think for kids it will work fine. 6 out of 10. Dwarf Romantic, the board game. I gave this a 6.5. This game, which ended up winning the Spiel des Jahres, very popular game, and I get why it's so popular. But for me, it's just you're doing stuff. There was no real game. You're just trying to score a higher score than last time. And I didn't find there to be anything compelling about it. It's not bad. I mean, it's almost good, but I needed a hook, and there just wasn't a hook in it. History Maker Baseball. Not a great production per se, but it was a really fun way to play baseball. This is definitely coming from me, a baseball nerd. I like stats and things like that, so this worked well. 7 out of 10. Pathways. So Pathways is a game that for some reason has just slipped my mind what it is. I'm quickly looking it up and pretending. Oh, yes. It's such a weirdly named game. It's a flicking game where you're flicking and trying to go across these discs on a board and not fall in the holes. It looks really terrible, and I found it to be pretty fun. I was very surprised at how much I enjoyed this. 7 out of 10. Scorecards. Does not look very good at all, but it is a game that you play these cards and you're going to score you in different ways based on when you play them for Mike Fitzgerald. I enjoyed this one a lot. I think it needed a better production. R&R Games just did it, but it doesn't look like they did the good production. We'll see. 8 out of 10. And Roll to the Top Journeys. This is a reprint from All Play, and I already liked Roll to the Top. I thought it was a very good game. This made it better. It's one of my favorite roll and writes, an 8 out of 10. And there you go, folks. Those are the games that I reviewed 1, 5, 10, and 20 years ago. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Look Back on the Dice Tower.